Oh man. Okay. What up, people? What's going on? What's going on? It is Eugene Bush of E-Tre Productions here to discuss another super dope topic in the Content Creators app. Um, Today I am going to be talking about the speed of technology. And why is that important? Why is the speed of technology important? It's because a lot of times a lot of us are operating on antiquated ways and antiquated methods. And I need to express the importance of being up to date with technology and the reason why you should pay attention. So let me change the card in this camera because I have run out of space on the card that's in there now. So I need to just switch this thing out. So give me just a second to switch that baby out. And then we're going to get started right away. So once you switch the card out, I also have to format the card to make sure I have no space. Now let's try it. All right. Are we back? Are we back? Awesome, awesome, and awesome. Okay, great. Here we go. So, guys, what we're going to talk about is the speed of technology, right? So, every week I'm on this app to give some tip and trick and some value that everyone can use to level up their content. And as I'm giving more tips and tricks and giving people value, I've noticed some things that, people are having problems with. And one of those major things that I've seen is the changes that are always occurring within these apps. So last week, Facebook had the business manager. Literally, last week. They had the business manager, and this week they have the creator studio. Right? And it's a whole new way to figure out how do you monetize, how do your tools, look at the analytics, things like that. It's a whole new system that they developed, and they, unfortunately for us, they don't ask our permission or look for our input in order to see what they're going to drop. They literally just update it, figure out what they feel like is more intuitive, and then they drop it. Okay? So for anybody who's old school like me, or who is a creature of habit, like once they get something, they feel confident in that thing that they just received, they just got, it can be a little frustrating, right? Because you are expecting buttons to be a certain place or things to be a certain, at certain intervals or whatever, and it's not there. For those people who have a problem with technology, right? I especially get it. If you're not tech savvy and you feel like you just get the hang of something, and all of a sudden then they move a screen, or the where the analytics were, they used to be there and they're not anymore. Or those people who take notes, right? There are people who take a lot of time to really absorb and get the game, right, and receive what it is that's being put out there, and they take copious notes and everything else, only to realize that doesn't work either, right? Because something changes. So I'm speaking to those people. I'm speaking to those people who are frustrated with technology, and maybe they're using things that aren't working today and is wondering this ain't for them, right? And I'm here to let you know it is for you, right? But you just got to change your expectation a little bit. Don't expect things to stay the same, especially when it comes to screens and social media. There are things that are going to change, but there are things that need to stay the same. And that's what I wanted to encourage you all today, is to know the difference between what's going to change and don't get discouraged by that, and then identify those things that don't change and that are constant. Okay? So one of the things that are absolutely going to change is the screens, the format, the placement of different things. How do you execute certain items, right? We've even seen changes in the last year or two within social media itself. Right? Over my evolution in the last 5 years, I've seen things go from the focus should have been Facebook, like everything was on Facebook and everybody was on Facebook, and then Instagram started taking over, right? And so everybody moved to Instagram, and then while they were on Instagram started shutting down accounts and doing different things, and people were like, you know what, skip that, I'm going to Twitter. And then they went to Twitter, just to come back to Instagram, and then the resurgence or the introduction of TikTok was born, and then so many people start going viral on TikTok, which is still today the number one most fastest growing platforms that is out there. Right, it's easier to get followers on TikTok than it is any other platform. That still is the case today. But TikTok was born, right? And people thought it was just for kids. And now you see business owners and older people and all kind of folks on this platform that are doing really well. And now what we're seeing is, where's the money coming from? So YouTube used to be the number one kind of platform that paid. Hello, wife. YouTube is the number one platform that paid creators, right, from the platform itself. TikTok has methods to pay people, like when you go live, people can give you coins and different kind of gifts that way. And now Facebook has not only introduced stars, is what they're calling it. Like, you can get stars for content that you put up that people are rocking with. That's a way for you to make money. But now Facebook has devoted billions of dollars, I think it's actually $1 billion, to creators, right? And what they're doing is they have all kind of bonuses that are available for creators to make money on Facebook. And so creators that used to make a lot of money on YouTube, and we all know that you needed millions of subscribers and all that jazz to make money on YouTube, are now seeing themselves making more money on Facebook, right? And that's the piece that a lot of people don't know. That's really the secret. Folks don't recognize that the platform itself, YouTube and Facebook, is sending money directly to creators to keep creating content, right? So it's just as if you were to create a show. You know, there's a lot of people who want to be actors, or want to be in entertainment, want to be in film, and they're trying to create these shows for a network. And a BET, a TV One, a CBS, right? The networks will pay the creator of that show, typically the production company or producers. They'll pay them to create content for that network, right? And there's a lot of money, millions of dollars. Well, Facebook is saying we're going to pay $1 billion to creators to create content on our network. Okay? Now this is hot off the press information. Okay? And so that's one of the things that change, right? That's my point. So there's a lot of things that change. One thing that's changing is how these platforms are moving, who's paying, when are they paying, how do they pay, all that kind of stuff. Now, what shouldn't change, here are the things that don't change, should be your commitment to social media, right? Not just social media, because social media changes. It's really your commitment to marketing, your commitment to branding yourself, your commitment to building something that's bigger than the person, right? Eugene, E-Tre Productions, the company, it's bigger than Eugene Bush, the person. The person may be going through some things. I may get into it with my wife. I may get into it with a friend. I may be hurt over something a client may do, right? But my reaction to it, my posts, my daily activity, especially publicly on social media, don't necessarily reflect all of that. They don't, not because I'm being false. It's because really I'm recognizing what technology is there for, what social media is there for. Social media is not your outlet to air all your dirty laundry. Social media is your marketing tool to get out the message that you want to get out. And that's if you're doing it right, right? Folks who are getting longevity and doing the things that don't change are treating it that way. They're treating it as a tool to get out and market their product, service, or brand, right? Now, your commitment to that marketing, your commitment to that branding, your commitment to the sales, whatever, that shouldn't change. That's something that should be constant. Now, whether you do it on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, or if you do it on a reel or a post, or if you do it within a trending video, or if you do it in an organic video, right? That's all up to you. But the point is that you should always have that commitment to put out that content. The other thing that shouldn't change is your consistency. Every day you wake up, you should be saying, Blair is so funny. I'll get to that in a moment. Every day you wake up, you should be saying to yourself, what is it that I need to put out into the world today? Every day, right? You should be answering that question. The world is asking you today, what is it that you want to say to the world? Okay, so you can go out there and you can be negative. You can go and troll people, right, and leave negative comments and just try to, right, spread negativity. Or you could actually be the change that you want to see in the world. You could put out something that you want to see. Now here's the interesting part that we all recognize, right? This may be a tangent, but when you put out more positive content, typically you don't get as many views and hits and likes and comments. I get that. But you can still put out positivity in a different way. The trick is you just got to be provocative with it, right? So when you're telling the truth, you may not want to say, hey, today's a great day. Get up and rise today and enjoy yourself. Okay, that's kind of boring. People are like, I hear that all the time, right? But what's more provocative is, someone didn't wake up this morning. And we know people who didn't wake up this morning, actually people of this color, this skin tone, who have dealt with white supremacy, who were just grocery shopping on a regular day. We know people who were going on with their regular lives and they're now no longer here. So today, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the universe to put out something positive, put out something worthy of surpassing you, right? Worthy of uplifting someone, right? Now that kind of message is more provocative. That's something that will last, okay? So you want to be able to still get attention, but still make an impact, right? Make a positive impact. You know what I mean? In the world. Okay? So your commitment and your consistency in doing that should never change. Right? So to answer Blair's question of, I shouldn't shade people on social media. I'm not saying what you need to do in your marketing. What I am saying is that if you're doing social media right, then you are marketing something. You're leading people somewhere. Right? That's what marketing is. Marketing is just this educational term for presenting something to people and leading them in a direction, right? It's what the market, when we talk about the market are the masses. So when you bring something to market, or when you see the stock market, right? The supermarket. It's the masses. It's this collection area that people are gathering in. And when you are marketing, when you're bringing something to the masses, what is it you want to bring to the masses? And is it worthy and reflective of who you are as a brand, a person, right? Influencer, whatever, what have you. So if you are the shade room, then yeah, you're going to be shading people. That's your brand, right? That's your market. That's what you want to do. I worked with Roland Martin, did a lot of work with him. Roland is an influencer. He's very influential. He's very smart, right? And this man is also very controversial. He takes the controversial approach to a whole lot of topics, right? He'll be quick to call somebody out in a minute, right? But is that wrong? It's not wrong. That's his brand. That's how he decides that he wants to communicate. But really, at the end of the day, if you listen to Roland and listen to his messaging, it is unity. It is growth. It is building something bigger than us. He just goes a different way around it, right? So there's multiple ways to get up to the top of the mountain, but we all should be trying to aim at growing and excelling and, and climbing, right? Climbing this mountain, Tari. Okay. Because we climb mountains. Okay. Shout out Tari Ture and her new album. All right. So that's two things that should remain the same. Your consistency with social media, your commitment to social media, and I actually wrote down. My wife always talks about me because I write things down on random envelopes. And let's see if I can find the random envelope that I wrote this note down on. No, those aren't the envelopes. Really? Where's my envelope? It's not even an envelope. It's a talent release form. Okay. Last thing that needs to stay the same is the community. Right? You are who you hang around. As much as you want to, right, surpass that, you can't. We are a product of our upbringing. We're a product of our community. We're a product of what we ingest on a regular basis and who we hang around. The best way in order to continue to excel with an ever-changing environment, an ever-changing world, especially when it comes to technology, is stay around people who are connected to technology. That will ensure that when things change, when things happen, when things are new, that you're receiving that new information, right? Now, controversial topic, college, right? I believe college has a purpose. It absolutely has a purpose, and I believe folks should go. I went. I have a degree. It used to be on the wall. It's not there now. That's why I look back. But college is something that I feel like has a tremendous amount of value. However, it doesn't have the day-to-day value that it sells. And what I mean is, most people who get a college degree don't actually work in the area they got the degree in. Most people who make a lot of money, there's a lot of people who make a whole lot of money in this world. A lot of them never went to college, right? So they try to sell you on, people try to sell you on that college is that thing that you have to do in order to make money. That's just not the reality. There are people who are making a whole lot of money hustling and never step foot in a college, okay? And I wanted to make that clear because that can be frustrating for someone like me that was sold that vision that said you have to go to college in order to make more money. And now I'm out of college, been out of college for years now, and I'm looking around at the people who hire me, who are making the money. And some of them went to college, but a lot of them didn't. I have a lot of clients that are making millions that never stepped foot in a college, right? And so if you feed into that narrative, then it can be frustrating when you get along and be like, yo, they're not doing it the way the system said to do it, and they're still prospering. But with college too, the other drawback to college is that they teach you really to be a holistic person, right? There's a lot of value that comes out of that. But what they're not teaching you is what's happening today. Like on the ground, boots on the ground, right now information. Because they can't. Think about the nature of curriculum, right? If I took the time to take all of what I'm learning right now and all of Facebook is providing, and I took the time to put it into a syllabus and plan it all out, and then even write a book and get the book printed and published, and then get it out and go through all the red tape of getting it approved through a college and everything else. Well, you're talking about 3 to 6 months of time that it takes to get something integrated into that system, into that college experience and system. And in 6 months, everything that you just talked about when it comes to Facebook done changed. The screen's done changed, the buttons done changed, right? So much stuff has changed. And that's why, a lot of people subscribe to YouTube University, because on YouTube you're getting up-to-date information kind of right now. But it just goes back to your community. You want to be very cognizant that you need to be around people who are doing what you want to do today. And glean from them, because especially when it comes to technology and social media and how do you get it out there, this stuff is constantly changing. It literally flips over every 6 months. Okay? So that's pretty much my message. Hold on, let me go back to my note. Tari told me a story, and she had a quote when I told her earlier about what I was going to talk about today, and she mentioned to me that I should state for folks to change with the change. It was a quote she heard, and I think that's really appropriate, right? You want people to change with the change. As things continue to change, and they will. The only thing that's inevitable in this world is that you're going to pay taxes, you're going to die, and things are going to change. Especially when it comes to technology. Okay? Those are your guarantees in life, right? Now, with those guarantees, you want to be able to adjust with the change. You want to be adaptive, right? You want to have a high adaptive IQ, Well, it's really not IQ, it'd be AQ, adaptive quotient, right? You want to be able to adapt with times, adapt, pivot with things. You got to be prepared to pivot, right? And I'd be remiss not to tell you, a lot of this is sparked from a conversation I had with my mother, and don't talk about my mama, because we're going to have some problems. But a lot of this had a conversation to do with my mama. We were talking about some of the technology she was using today, and she was literally trying to connect a DVD to her computer. And I got a little upset. Not because it wasn't connecting, it wasn't working the same, but it was because my mother, and all the wisdom and all the things that she's done, is using a DVD. Now, yes, I have DVDs, and there are people who are old school still use DVDs, but in the world we're using today, a DVD is the equivalent to using a tape or 8-track. Okay? It's so old. Computers don't even come with DVDs. Cars don't even come with DVDs or, CD players, right? Like, DVDs are the old way to doing things. I guess you can still get movies in Redbox on DVD, but who's doing that? Everybody is streaming. Most people are streaming. Obviously, there's people using DVDs, and there's a market for that. But we're just talking about the mass market. The majority of people are streaming their content, they're streaming their music, they're looking at files, right? And so the fact that she was using a DVD, I was really just got to push her. It's time to adapt, Mom. Like, it's time to move up with the times. We need to get those DVDs off of the DVD drive and put them onto a file, so then you can just play the file and put them on the hard drives. Okay. But all to say is that you have to continue to adapt. You have to continue to move. You have to continue to adjust with the times and get used to adjusting. I understand adjusting can be very frustrating. Adjusting and moving can be very, it can provide anxiety. I get it, right? But in order to do what we need to do to move in this world, in this life, how we need to move, you just have to have a high AQ, adaptive quotient, right? You basically have to be able to adapt. And the quicker you can adapt, the quicker you can pivot, the more you can incorporate being the change, right? Changing with the change, the better off you'll be, right? And that's really what we're about. So this app, I continue to encourage you all, stay connected with the Content Creators app. Tell your friends and family about this app. We're not just providing the real tools today that need to happen with your social media and how to get social media growth. There are billions. Facebook has dedicated billions of dollars to creators, and there's so much money dedicated to creators, but we want to make sure we're responsible in our creating, and not just creating monsters that are out here saying whatever they want to say and using and weaponizing social media, right? That shouldn't be humanity. That shouldn't be our next evolution. Our next evolution as humans with technology and social media and becoming more digital and the metaverse, right? And all of that. Our next evolution should still be in love, in progress, and unity, and all those things. And so part of that is being responsible with our social media platforms and what we're saying and what we're doing, right? So with that said, that's it. That's all I have for you. Didn't want to stay on here too long, guys. I'll stay connected to the app. Make sure, I would love to see some trends. I feel like folks are listening. That's great. That's part of it. But you got to participate. You got to take action. You don't get the real results. You don't get the real flavor, the real meat of what I'm saying if you're not using your own platforms to grow, right? It's kind of like my Pastor Bill Winston in Living Word, right? The word that he preaches a lot of progress and even finances. The word he preaches didn't become more real to me until I started moving and being an entrepreneur. Then it was like, oh my God, I need what he's saying, right? It wasn't just, let me go to church for a routine just to see what people are saying. No, I needed the encouragement. I needed the strategy. I needed that insight and that revelation. And that's what I'm encouraging you all today, right? I'm here to give you the insight, give you the revelation when it comes to social media, give you all the tips, tricks, answer your questions, but it doesn't become real, it doesn't become deep, you don't get the benefit of it if you're not doing it. So forge ahead, fight the urge to get past the anxiety, get past all that, and start doing your content. I posted up some fire, super fire trends in the community, so jump on over there into the community and let's see you guys do some of the trends. Be creative, put it out there. Make sure you're hashtagging Content Creators app, and I will see you all on the next one. All right.